Hello friends, fans, and dairy products of all ages. This is Cheese of Ages here, talking about another League of Legends thing. Now this is going to be mostly talking about a complaint I have with the Hextech crafting system, but it's a relatively, just a minor annoyance, something that, consider this as constructive criticism. I'm giving feedback of something that needs to be, tweaked, and I'm suggesting only an adjustment that won't necessarily be negative to Riot at all, but will help mitigate the bad parts of it that I'm going to talk about. Overall, I like the systems and how it works, other than this one thing. I'm grateful for the free stuff. I just think the situation could be mutually improved. Now, what is Hextech crafting? Well, for the uninitiated, it's a system in which you can earn or buy chests and keys to unlock fragments of free content. These chests are buyable, and the keys are also buyable for about 125 RP currently. And chests are earned by someone in either you or someone in your pre-made group of friends. Like you're playing the game with a pre-made party of 3 people. Anyone in your pre-made group, not the match-made group, so if you queue up by yourself and somebody else that's not in your friends list that you're grouped with gets an S rank, it doesn't count. It has to be in your pre-made group or be you. You unlock a chest if you get an S minus or above. You get a key fragment randomly when you win. To give you an idea of the ballpark estimate, I've won 6 games since the system was introduced and gotten 2 keys. My friend got 3. And I've seen reports on the Reddit, people complaining of being played 8 games in a row without getting a key fragment. And this is a key fragment. This is just 1/3 of what you need to get a key and unlock something. So keys are actually pretty hard to get, as well as chests if you're not a super good player enough to get an S rank, or playing with somebody to get S rank. So there's reasonably heavy restrictions on getting these chest things, but it's nothing unreasonable at face value, because hey, it's free stuff, and getting 3 key fragments is grindy, but it's reasonable. It's okay to have these kinds of restrictions where you have to play the game a lot to get this shit. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with all the restrictions, except the one I'm going to be complaining about later. Now, the content of the chest isn't something like CS Go has, where this thing I could sell and it's a knife and it's worth $900. There's nothing like that. It's just basically shit you could have normally bought from the store, with the exception of Hextech Annie. But I'm not going to go into that. You can get fragments of champions, skins being the most common thing, ward skins, and various other content. Summoner icons you can also get, but if you get a summoner icon, you also get essence, which is used to unlock shit. These fragments of content can be used for a week-long rental, broken down for essence, which can be used to unlock things permanently, or spend essence to unlock them permanently. As you get a free chest which contains more than usual content, you get a guaranteed random skin shard, ward skin shard, and enough essence to unlock either one of them and have some left over usually. 800 essence is what I got. I'm pretty sure that doesn't vary. So anyway, you could get fragments for content you already have, which is you could get a champion you already have, you could get a skin you already have, you could get a ward skin you already have, you can even get a summoner icon you normally have. But you can break it down for essence, or combine 3 shards of the same type to unlock a permanent of the corresponding type, 3 champion shards into a permanent champion, and going on down the list. All this sounds pretty nice, doesn't it? Although the fact that you can randomly get content you already have increases the chances that you won't really get something you care about for long periods of time. That's kind of bad. If you're unlucky, you could spend an entire month earning a month's worth of chests and keys and get nothing you want, theoretically. And the longer you are in the game and the more stuff you have, the more likelihood that you're not going to get something you want. That could have some drawbacks, but there's uses for breaking down things, and there's going to be more added on into the future. I'm okay with everything generally how it works. Even the cost of the keys and chests are reasonable. Riot knows how to make money with how this is structured, with how the key fragments go. People will want to buy keys. Hey, they're cheap. And also they come in reasonably affordable bundles, where bundles of things cost a good chunk less, and larger bundles tend to come with extra stuff, like a bit of essence, or maybe an extra key and chest, depending on how much you spent. So it's structured very well to earn money, and other than the one thing I'm going to complain about in a few moments, the unlocking them for free system is actually pretty decent. The one thing I have that is a problem with this system is that if you unlock a chest playing a champion, let's say you get an S rank on the champion you're playing in a pre-made group. Everybody in your pre-made group, or just you if it's just you, will unlock a chest. So that feels really gratifying. That's nice. You played well and you unlock something for you and your friends. The problem? Now, nobody involved in getting that chest can play the champion they were playing again and unlock a chest for an entire year. For the rest of the season, which a season is practically a year. So, okay, every time you S rank or are involved in an S rank, one of your champions is sealed away for an entire year for the purposes of unlocking chests. So if you want to unlock chests, you can't play champions you regularly play over and over again in sequence, because like periodically you'll just be sealing them away, and gradually your chances of unlocking more chests goes down over the course of a year. I'm fine with there being a lockout period where you can't just spam one champion you always S rank with, that's your main, and just get chests easy peasy. There should be a lockout period, but an entire year is extreme. Especially considering that even a professional League of Legends player, assuming he gets an S rank with reasonable consistency, can in 3 months or less seal away every champion considered to be competitively viable, and every champion in his arsenal at the minimum within like 2 months or 3 months. You could, in half the time it takes to for them to come back, you could seal away every champion that is considered competitively viable easily for every single role in the game in less than half of the time it takes for them to come back up. So, while it encourages champion play variety, it's like, oh, play champions you don't normally play. It also discourages that, because when you play that, it's sealed for a year, so why are you going to play that champion for the rest of the year? If the period were shorter, you'd be like, oh, I've went through this battery of all the champions I normally play, and I've been branching out a little bit, and okay, so the grace period's over. I can start doing the cycle again. I'm going through these champions, this arsenal of champions. Oh, and now I'm back to these handful of champions I don't normally play again. So instead of only playing champions you don't regularly play once a year, you do it maybe twice or 3 times a year, depending on how short they make this time period. I mean, having to wait 3 months to use your main again to unlock a chest is a lot shorter period of time, and causes it where you play champions you don't normally play 4 times a year. And 3 months, if you're getting S's consistently, you're sealing away freaking 12 champions. If you only get 50% of the chests, you're still sealing away 6 champions, which is the average player's entire arsenal of regularly played mains. So even shortening it to a fourth would be like flexible. So if 6 months, it's like no player in the game would not go through their entire arsenal of champions and then branching into like other things regularly, and you get champions you don't normally play at least twice for the purposes of chests. It makes more sense and encourages more champion diversity to shorten, but not entirely eliminate, because it should be there, your lockout periods. This lockout period also does other things that are like slightly detrimental, because like sure, this encourages like finding more friends, but like the odds of finding somebody that has all their faves unlocked is like rare. Plus, this encourages grinding. It's like, okay, I'll play my main that I S rank with until you guys unlock all of your chests, and then you guys save your mains to unlock mine. And it encourages exploiting the system rather than doing the intended thing of branching out more. You know. And also, this is incredibly restrictive and detrimental to newer players. It's a big issue for lower skill players that don't have the mechanics to branch out successfully and consistently. I mean, imagine being a new player with very few champions, finally finding a champ you're really good with, only to have that champion sealed away from unlocking a chest with for an entire year. I'm not saying the limit should be gone, but that would feel awful, wouldn't it? Theoretically speaking, it's like, oh, I can't unlock a chest with this champion. I should play something else so I could get some free content. So not only is this system like harder to get new content for experienced players that can diversify, it is really extremely punishing to newer players that can unlock more shit because they don't have as much shit. It's just like a punch to the fucking face and gullet, and just like, agony. Now, also, imagine you take one of your faves into a game with your pre-made, and you just by fluke have a bad game on a champion you normally S-rank all the time with, and then somebody in your pre-made gets an S-rank, and you're locked out from that champion. So, like, you just basically, you have a terrible game, and now you can't earn a chest for you and your friends with that champion that you normally S-rank with, your favorite champion. You can't have that moment to shine and glory for an entire year. Feels bad, man. Not to mention, like, if like multiple people get S ranks, it feels kind of wasteful, but that's a very minor thing. But yeah, a lot of these complaints could be mitigated by the fact that of reducing the gap period. And with how hard it is to get new content, and the already existing restrictions of requiring an S rank, which is not something that's very easy to get for like the average player, and also having it where key drops are not consistent at all, it makes no sense for the restriction to be this long. It makes sense to be there, but for 12 goddamn months, practically an entire damn season, it just doesn't make any sense. It's too long. Just like, okay, I've played all these champions of Bad Out. I've went through all of this. I've unlocked chests. Okay, I already have that. Okay, I already have that. You know, I don't even want that. You know, you'll occasionally get some really nice, good things, but like, considering like the content you get, the rate of unlocking new things, and the fact that it can often take 4 or more chests to unlock things that you want because you need essence. There's just so much keeping this thing where it could be a profitable business model for Riot because people want to just buy the chests without the time restriction they're locking you out of a champion, being 12 goddamn months. That's my only complaint. It needs to be shorter. Or, since they don't have currently anything to do with champion shards, that if you have all the champions unlocked, So you basically have no use at all for champions because you can't for champion shards because you can't unlock any champions, or maybe you just don't want any of the champions you don't have unlocked. Maybe they could make it where you can spend champion essence to lower the lockout period or something. Just spitballing ideas here. There could be reasons for that not being a good thing, but it's an idea. So yeah, that's basically all I had to say about that. This limit being so long creates a whole bunch of bad feel around something that's otherwise really good unnecessarily, because there's already nice restrictions in place on the financial side of the things, and it being shorter but not too short would mitigate a lot of the problems this creates and the bad feel this can create without removing the beneficial things of the lockout period that I've mentioned, basically keeping people from just spamming a small arsenal of champions. You know, 4 months, so where you have to cycle through new champs 3 times a year. I think that would be a sweet spot, at least in my opinion, because the average player would have to branch out a lot, and professional players would in that period of time seal out most champions they usually play because they could consistently S rank. You know. It just seems like a nice sweet spot to me. Yeah, but you can give or take a month, maybe. Maybe implement a 6-month period and have something to peel it back a little bit, like I mentioned, option 4 before. But yeah, this will be Cheese of Ages signing off.